Howdy, it's Jim Morado, and this is October 26th, 2024, and I'm driving to the Battletown Witch Festival. I believe this is the second or third time they've done this, and I was happy to hear that there was another kind of kooky festival like this going on in Kentucky. It was about a 2-hour drive for me to get there, but I was definitely up for it. This is a cool area, and I drove down. I stopped at Java on Joe in Grove City. Very nice little coffee shop. In fact, I'll probably put up another video about them because I liked what they are doing. But just a nice area, nice drive. I drove down to E-Town and then came up this way and headed to Otter Creek Park, which seems like a really nice park in its own right. And I might have to come back here another day just to do that. I will say my one complaint, and I hate to even bring it up because it was a nice festival. I'm sure they're doing the best. The parking situation was absolutely terrible. You parked in a field, and there really wasn't a whole lot of direction, and people were parking where they shouldn't have. Other people were blocked in. When I went to leave, it took me about 20 minutes to get out of an area that should have taken me 2 or 3. Anyway, here we are parking. This is kind of early on in the festival. I got here probably around 12:30. The festival started around noon. And, it was kind of hectic, but it was very doable. I found a spot. And then I got in a line for a shuttle. The line looked big, but honestly, they were moving those shuttles, and it was pretty easy to get back and forth. I had maybe a 10-minute wait, and then the bus and shuttle ride took about another 5 minutes. Some people walked it. On another day, I might have walked it. It looked like a nice walk, actually. It was kind of uphill on the way there, but it would have taken a while. I do walk slow these days, but it did look like a pretty walk. And lots of nice scenery. The shuttle got us up here to the festival. And again, a nice park. They had a lot going on. It just was a neat place to come to. And again, I'm going to have to look up Otter Park and maybe try to go there on another day just to enjoy what else they have to offer. Had some nice little seating area. They had some speakers, and I'm not sure how that went. I only had a couple of hours here. I was here, I left a little after 2, I believe, and I was on a bit of a time crunch, but that was okay. 2 hours was plenty of time to go and check out the vendors and to talk to a few people. And there was one author. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there was one author there I wanted to talk to, and that's Kay Hamilton. Kay Hamilton right there. Well, we're zooming away, but we'll come back to her here in just a second. Written a couple of books. One of them very specifically about Leah Smock, the Battletown Witch. Yeah, there's her books. And a nice little table set up. She wrote a book about the Battletown Elementary School, which is haunted. It closed in 2012. She worked there for a while. That book was $10. Then she had her book on Leah Smock, which was $15. I bought both of them. She was very sweet. And I'm working with a new camera. My audio's not that great, so I'll talk through what she said. But she was very happy to talk about the Battletown Witch, the legend, the school. Just a very sweet lady. I was glad to meet her. And if you're looking for a book on the Battletown Witch, hers is the one to buy. I know there's another one out there, and I think it's called the Battletown Witch, and it's a big book full of stuff, mostly a history of witchcraft, and it gives just, I don't know, it doesn't give a ton of information about the Battletown Witch, but her book is full of information, and I think she was the source for the other book's information, so she's probably one of the best direct sources to the legend, having grown up in the area, and her, I think it was her uncle and some other family members basically passed their knowledge down to her. And if you're not familiar with it, in a very, very small nutshell, Leah Smock was born in 1818, and the legend is that she was burned as a witch in 1840 by some locals. And again, there is some folklore in that. Exactly what happened, I'm not sure how documented all that is, but it is an interesting story. and it's been kept alive by the locals in the Battletown area. Of course, we're technically in Brandenburg for this festival, which is, again, a nice area that I'm going to have to explore some more later. And just, yeah, I gave you some shots of the festival. I got on the shuttle to go back to my car and leave. And got a few more shots looking out. They did have right there, I think, the promoters of the festival sold their merchandise, and they had some cool stuff. They weren't gouging either. They even had some shirts from last year's festival they were selling for $5. And God bless them for putting on the festival. And just a fun event. Among the dealers and the vendors, I mostly saw, 3D print stuff has become big at festivals like this. They had witchy clothes, jewelry, things like that. It was a witch festival, and I did see a lot of people dressed up. Of course, there were the Sanderson sisters, and just other people wearing their pointy hats, and people wearing their Halloween costumes. So look at one of the shuttles taking people back to the parking area. And again, I was shooting out of a bus window, so this might get a little dirty here, but just giving you a sense of what was going on here. There was no admission; it was free, which that's a price I can afford. And hopefully, a lot of the vendors there did well. Again, some pretty cool looking food trucks and things of that nature. And we're driving on. It is late October. The trees are looking great. I've been to several festivals this year. I try to make a point, a few months before Halloween. I get excited. I did make it to the Flatwoods Monster Festival in West Virginia this year. Also made it to the Bell Witch Festival down in near Clarksville, Tennessee. And that's a great one. That's another witchy festival that they're doing a really good job. They've been doing theirs for over 20 years though, and theirs lasts for a month and a half or so before Halloween. They pretty much on the weekends they do a play and have a little festival. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, this one's a newer one. Again, it was free. Here's a little bit of the parking. I just came out of a really bad situation. There were several areas where only one car could fit through. People were looking for parking spaces. They were coming down, then you'd have several cars behind them, so nobody could get out. Then nobody could leave their parking spot. And I ended up driving through a field that I'm sure I wasn't supposed to, which was not good for my small car. But I eventually was able to get out, but it took about 20 minutes. The parking situation was bad. In fact, I probably won't go back again next year if they're having it at the same spot. And the parking was bad. It was bad, and I was really glad to get out of here when I did. But again, it was a free festival, and God bless these people for putting it on. I'm very happy they did. It was a good time otherwise. Yeah, again, you can't complain too much about people putting on a free festival, but the parking was really, really bad. And I didn't tape most of. I should have had my camera going, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was the Battletown Witch Festival. It was interesting. I'm glad I got to go down. I like to go to these mostly, if there's authors, I like to read a lot. I like to meet authors, and yeah, just check out what's going on. Did you make it to the Battletown Witch Festival? I'd love to hear from some other people who got down there and see what they thought. And it kind of this was probably the last big major Halloween-y type festival before Halloween that I'll hit. But I do love these. These are so much fun. And of course, the park. Look how pretty the park is with those trees there and all. Yeah. So anyway, I'll wrap this up now, but if you were at the Battletown Witch Festival, let me know what you thought. Thanks.